You're not too old, you're not too late, and you are not behind. Later is now. Welcome to Later is Now, the podcast for people who know they're made for more, but have stopped waiting for the perfect time. I'm Leigh Allyson Smith, and every week we'll have honest conversations about life, leadership, healing, faith, and purpose. Because I've learned that healing isn't the reward for leadership, it's the responsibility of leadership. And I believe your greatest chapter may still be ahead of you. Hello and welcome. If you're listening to this, you've officially found the very first episode of Later is Now. And I couldn't imagine a better way to begin than simply welcoming you. Tomorrow, or today actually, I celebrate my 49th birthday. For some people, birthdays are about looking back. For me, this one is about looking ahead. This podcast is my declaration that I'm done waiting. Done waiting for the perfect opportunity. Done waiting until everything is figured out. Done waiting for fear to disappear. Because here's what I've learned. Later is where dreams go to die. Not because we don't have dreams, but because we convince ourselves we'll get to them someday, or we'll get to it someday. Then someday becomes next year, and then next year becomes 5 years. And before we know it, we've settled for a life we were never meant to live. This podcast exists to challenge that mindset. For more than 25 years, I've had the privilege of leading in healthcare, ministry, education, and consulting. I've celebrated victories. I've walked through grief. I've experienced burnout. I've failed and had to learn how to fail forward. I've had to reinvent myself. And I've discovered that success doesn't exempt us from needing healing. In fact, the higher we are when we lead, or the higher we lead, the deeper our healing often needs to be. That's why we'll talk about leadership, not just the kind that earns promotions, but the kind that transforms lives. We'll talk about healing, because unhealed wounds won't stay hidden. They'll eventually show up in our leadership, our relationships, our decisions, and even in the way we see ourselves. We'll talk about faith, purpose, resilience, courage, and what it really looks like to begin again. Some weeks, it'll be just you and me, and other weeks, I'll invite incredible guests who have faced adversity, reinvented themselves, and discovered purpose on the other side. But every episode has one goal, and that goal is to help you stop waiting, to help you heal deeply, to help you lead courageously, and to remind you that your story is far from over. So whether you're rebuilding after loss, leading through uncertainty, starting a business, changing careers, healing from heartbreak, or simply asking God, what's next? God, what have you called me to? God, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? God, what is my purpose? You belong here. Thank you for trusting me with your time. And I truly believe we're going to grow together, because this isn't just a podcast. It's a movement. It's an invitation. In fact, it's permission to stop postponing the life you were created to live. And I hope you'll join me every week as we discover what it truly means to stop waiting and start living. Because your story isn't over. In fact, it may just be the beginning. If today's trailer encouraged you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, and share Later is Now with someone who's been waiting for their someday. You can also connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at I Am Leigh Smith, where we'll continue these conversations about life, leadership, healing, and purpose. And before we go, I want to leave you with the words that have become the foundation of this movement. You're not too old. You're not too late. You're not behind. And healing isn't the reward for leadership. It's the responsibility of leadership. Because later is where dreams go to die. And now is where purpose comes alive. I'm Leigh Allyson Smith. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you next time on Later Is Now.